Welcome to another dope episode of HKW Breaking Ground. We're up to week 8 and just a little over 2 weeks away from our first ever pay-per-view, Battle Tested. You can definitely feel the excitement among the talent backstage. Jade Morgan brags about how Reyes has been dominating the singles division, and it was time for them to do the same in the tags ranking. Deadly Whispers, we accept your challenge for next week. We are going to send a message to the rest of the locker room that the Frontliners are here to take over HKW. Terrence, banged up from last week's match against Ride or Die, begins to have doubts. Man, I don't think we can win with me as the number 2 on this team anymore. I think we need to start looking to add some youth. Russell doesn't disagree. BECCA lets the Women's World Champion Lolo know that if she wasn't her sister, she would have challenged her for the world title at Battle Tested and taken advantage of the grace period. But as a good sister, she'll allow her reign to continue. BECCA continues, but since the world title isn't currently available to me thanks to nepotism, well, I guess I'll take that internet title from you, REYNA. BECCA has laid out the challenge. Will REYNA accept? It's that time of the week and I'm glad you're tuned in. It's time for storytelling, stories told in a cube ring. We breaking ground, that's just sort of our thing. Making stars out of cars, all trying to get the pin. Body slams and suplex, don't get hit with a super kick. Putting the chops to the chest, anything for the win. Yeah, this is HKW, so stick around while we break ground. It's what I would do. This is breaking ground, this is breaking ground. This is breaking ground, this is breaking ground. This is breaking ground, this is breaking ground. 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 Our first match to get this show started is Reyna's final mandatory title defense before the Battle Tested pay-per-view. She's going up against the unexpectedly impressive MAVIS. Honestly, I booked MAVIS to fill slots in the Mega Clash match. Due to her solid showing, she's earned her subsequent booking since. And this was no different. Even though MAVIS was still winless, I knew she would give REYNA a run for her money and could potentially dethrone her. And as we're coming to expect, this match didn't disappoint. MAVIS put up a great effort, but REYNA is just too much right now. REYNA is displaying superstar potential, and it's becoming more and more evident with each match. REYNA puts on a show and picks up the victory. With this win, REYNA is now 3-0 and heads into Battle Tested with great momentum. After the match, REYNA addresses BECCA's challenge. BECCA, with a 2-0 record, you are worthy of a title shot. But being from a wrestling family, I know this business is all about leveraging. I'll give you your title shot at the buy-in at Battle Tested. REYNA pauses a moment, then continues. If Lolo gives me a world title shot at Battle Tested. Wow, REYNA's setting herself up to be a multi-title champion. That's a hefty load though, having 2 matches in one day. But I'm here for it, baby. Let's go! The next match is tag team action between Cold-Case and Terrible Gentlemen. Both teams had representation at the first ever Bizarro Land Contenders match way back in episode 1. Both teams are trying to use this match to make a name for themselves, as they've kind of gotten lost in the shuffle with so many dope tag teams. But as far as this match goes, it's Terrible Gentlemen who strike the first blow and are able to get their first win. The next segment starts with Amanda T. Madison heading to the ring for her first promo at HKW. Amanda Madison always seems to light up more when the spotlight is on her. Amanda begins with how great it is to be back in the squared circle. She adds how great it's been to be back in front of the fans. And it's also been great to see her former tag team partner, Blasian. Amanda points out that it's too bad that Style and Grace went their separate ways because the fans ended up missing out. What she fails to mention is that it was due to her dreams of single success that ended their partnership. Amanda continues. Blasian, if you're watching in the back, I think it's time for Style and Grace to do it again. I think it's time to dominate HKW, as we've done in other promotions so many times before, together. And let's start with Bittersweet. Blasian comes out to the stage. She agrees their time together was very successful and is one of the fondest times in her career. But even though she has gotten over their untimely end, she too has moved on from that part of her life and is now the one focused on having a singles career. Blasian says, "Amanda, thank you so much for believing in us, but it's a little too late for style and grace." Getting a win against anyone here in HKW is no easy feat. Trust me, I know. Being that I'm the guy that took an L to OGPD. Oliver Hamilton may be 0-2, but if PDG overlooks him to Twister and battle-tested, well, he could walk into the pay-per-view fresh off a loss. Hamilton put up a decent fight, but a focused PDG is looking damn near unstoppable. After some back and forth, PDG was able to gain momentum and keep it all the way to victory. Looks like PDG will be walking into his championship match with Twister at Battle Tested, undefeated and confidence sky high. PDG celebrates his victory in the ring. A masked assailant jumps in from behind. The man in the mask commences to put a good old-fashioned whooping on PDG. Who would do such a thing? Is this a personal beef? Is this related to his upcoming championship match with Twister? After laying PDG out, the masked man was gone. I'm gonna have to find out what the hell just happened. Everyone is still reeling from the assault we all witnessed after our last match on PDG. We all hope he's okay and this doesn't affect his championship match at Battle Tested. But the show must go on, and with this match, there was serious business to attend to. This contest was to determine the next contender to the Women's Tag Team Championship at Battle Tested. Just as expected, these two heavyweights in the Women's Tag Team division, PERCY'S Angel and Team Wild, showed why the titles were definitely in jeopardy come Battle Tested. HKW was starting to build up its library of amazing matches, and this one would be one for the ages. Unfortunately, we would have to wait for a future contest to determine a winner. The teams battled the entire 30-minute time limit to a draw. Strong and Sexy come onto the stage to laugh at both teams. Angela lets them know since there was no winner, both teams are now disqualified for challenging for the title at Battle Tested. As Angela began to say who they were picking as their opponents at Battle Tested, I popped up on the mega screen. I agreed with Angela that indeed there was no winner, but I also pointed out that there was also no loser. With that fact, in the best interest of the fans in mind, I was booking them all to a three-way ladder match for the tag titles at Battle Tested. Azra, upset, let me know that I couldn't force them without their consent, to which again I agreed. But I could book the titles. It was up to them if they were going to defend the titles or forfeit them. And with that, we have another banger for Battle Tested, a three-way ladder match for the HKW Women's Tag Team titles. After squaring all that away with the women's tag titles, it was now time to make my tag team debut. I would be teaming with Goliath against Cooper and Landon of the Modern Day Country Boys. Our tag team name is David and Goliath. This ended up being the Goliath show though. There was nothing either Cooper or Landon could do with this giant of a man. Goliath was really laying them in stiff. Before this match was over, he had managed to bust open both the Modern Day Country Boys. Goliath ends up getting the win, and he never even tags me in. What a way to pick up my first win. After what just occurred in the previous match, you know this contest between SBS and Samson was going to be an emotionally charged one. So, for that reason, I barred everyone from ringside. And that it was. SBS looked like he was out there trying to avenge his bloody boys. Now, even though Samson was thrown into this beef by Goliath and didn't have anything against SBS personally, if he had to use him to get to reach his brother Goliath, well, then he would have no problem putting SBS down. Tonight, it was SBS that was able to even the score and somehow picks up a win against the mighty Samson. Goliath will definitely not be happy with this outcome, especially so close to Battle Tested. Following a match for the ages, SBS asks for the mic and begins to address the giant. Goliath, you think a little blood scares us? You think you sending me some sort of message? Well, we're still a couple weeks out before Battle Tested. I say, why wait? Let's have a trios match. My boys want some get back. And Logic, stay out our way and we won't break you. Sheesh. Looks like SBS ain't taking too lightly to me teaming with biblical proportions. Up next was Revenant's final mandatory title defense before Battle Tested. And again, Leon's booked the young green talent as a challenger for the internet title, continuing to protest Revenant's having to defend against anyone who hasn't ranked.
The kid, whose name is Ricky Reed, is big and strong and showed some promise, but it wasn't too long before Revenant had him looking up at the lights. Revenant retains and will head into battle-tested Internet Champion. The 3-0 champ will be defending his title against the 5-0 Reyes. And this is just the buy-in, folks. What a card this is shaping up to be. Just as we're about to go off the air, in Lovecraft and hate fashion, Revenant and El Diablo begin the whoop on Reed. Not sure what this accomplishes besides possibly the enjoyment they get out of beating people up from what I can surmise. Thank goodness the Finest came out to make the save because I'm not sure how much more of this Reed was going to be able to take. Even though I doubt Reed will invoke his right to have Lovecraft and hate suspended for the attack, I will be offering him that option. Now make sure you tune into next week's episode because it's going to be a banger. So far we got the Frontliners versus Deadly Whispers. We'll also see cool-ass Percy Reeves in action, and we'll hear from the world champion Twister, and much more. See you next week, y'all.